And it seems like your best.
Here we go. Oh my goodness. We have a wonderful show today with Tim Ray. So we are going to learn and grow together.
Right here. And when you need a friend, you can count on me. I'll be right here. Right here waiting for you.
This is the place you can always turn to when you need a friend. The Lillian McDermott Show. To reach out to Lillian, visit her on the web at whenyouneedafriend.com. Now let's all learn together. Here's Lillian McDermott.
Hello, my listening friends. So nice we can meet each other on the air on this beautiful, best day ever. And if you've stumbled upon the show, it's no accident. You are destined to listen to the show today. So for those of you who are new to the Lillian McDermott Radio Show, the purpose of the show is to provide a safe place where you can go to when you need a friend. It is my commitment to provide alternative ways to heal, and it is my mission to make awareness, responsibility, and truth a part of our everyday life. And I hope you, my listening friend, and my viewing friends will feel empowered to learn a new truth or embrace a new truth and live the life that you desire. And so today we're going to talk about our intention. And when we come together with our intention, what happens? You know, there comes a time in our life that everyone's belief system is tested. But being tested is not necessarily a bad thing. It could tremendously be a growth opportunity and blessing. But at that moment, we can feel a little distracted, a little detached from self and others. Today, we have Tim Ray, which, by the way, was one of the best interviews I've ever experienced. He's the CEO of United Intentions, and he believes that there is strength in numbers, and we should all have a safe place, just like the Lillian McDermott Radio Show, a safe place to turn to when you need a friend, a safe place to go to when you need to align your intentions as well. So now you have a couple of places, options that we all have, and so we can take our daily struggles and turn them into a positive, a trusting the process, whatever it is that you get from wherever you go to receive that power that is within you, that perhaps maybe getting out of your own drama or trauma or whatever is going on. So today, Tim Ray is going to talk about how his vision, he's going to share his vision and why he started United Intentions, his mission, and tips how we can remain positive, even when we feel a little unfocused. And since it is our sole purpose in life to give and receive love and knowledge, I am grateful that Tim Ray is here to do just that. Welcome, Tim, to the Lillian McDermott Radio Show.
Hi, Lillian. I'm so excited to be on your show, and I enjoyed our interview so much, probably more than you did. You are a delightful creature. I'll tell you what, you are wonderful, and what you're doing in your program is reaching so many people. And in today's day, the time is so important now to have people who could think like you, to raise people up out of that lower vibrational thinking and feeling.
You know, thank you. That's very sweet. I did say to you off the air when we first saw each other, it's been a while since we've spoken or since our interview. And I said to you, you know, that was it was a fun interview. You do a great job. You're a wonderful host. You've only been doing this for 3 years, but yet you're a pro. Share a little bit about your background and what led you to this passion that you have.
Sure. Well, my background, I've always been an avid reader, and I think, you know, and a young, insecure kid. So I think the mixture of those two really kind of helped me bring to where I am today. I talk to kids at different schools, and I share with them, you know, it's okay to be insecure, because if it helps you go within yourself to try to improve, to grow, to learn, it's all the reasons, it's all worth it. It's happening for a reason. But my background basically has been healthcare, and I really don't look back in my life for a theme, but I was a mental health counselor at one point, and then I got into senior healthcare. I started as a nursing home administrator, worked my way up the ranks, did the career path to vice president of operations of a $100 million company, and decided to go off on my own at one point, start my own company, which I did about 15 years ago, and home health care. And that's been successful. I got to the point where I wanted to give back to what my core beliefs were. And that's exactly where I did. I said, hey, I'm hired at present to run my company, and I started this foundation.
That's very admirable. It's funny because when you and I came together, especially during the show, we realized how much we have in common, and yet another commonality. I was in healthcare. I work in the healthcare industry, but specifically the senior care. So it's just. I worked for a home health company as a marketing rep. And so, it's amazing how we come together. And when we unite our intentions, you have a vision, I have a vision. And it's amazing how our visions have brought us together. But it wasn't because we stayed in one place. It's because we moved towards each other without even knowing we were going towards each other. Isn't that amazing?
It is. I call it frequency, and Einstein calls it frequency work too. Is when you want to experience a certain reality, you got to match that frequency. But we do it automatically. It's like we create our intentions automatically. We're not even aware of it. And what I'm about, you're about, is being conscious, slowing down, and being conscious of your intentions, your thoughts and feelings. So then you can see what you're actually creating. So that's really a big piece of it. And I think our frequency matches, as you do with other people. I mean, who would have known home health care? You're a rep for home health care. Now, I started home health care company, right?
Absolutely. So this is what we're going to talk about today. And if you have any thoughts or anything that you would like to share, feel free to call or text me at 407-373-5959. And we're going to continue our conversation with CEO of United Intentions, Tim Ray, when we return worldwide at whenyouneedafriend.com. We'll be right here waiting for you. And the great thing about this is that he pads me. Okay, so this is the Off the Air show where we are like welcoming.
Woo!
That's right. We can say whatever we want. But isn't that amazing? Isn't that amazing?
I didn't know that. I'm surprised I didn't ask you that on my interview, because that is so specific. You know what I mean?
Spooky.
It is spooky
because I would love to hear a little bit more about what made your shift, because my shift came at a certain time. I've always loved personal growth books. If I was going to read anything, it was a personal growth book. And I've always wanted to go that route. And I even tried taking psychology courses in college and writing courses. It's amazing how many people in my life try to turn off my light or blow out my light. And today, all the things that I was told I could not do, I'm doing. And I believed them for such a long time, Tim. Who was that voice in your head that told you that created that insecure child?
It could go from, my background of growing up in a very militant kind of family, as well as, but basically it's a typical teenager insecure, you're not, good enough. It's the not enoughness that we all almost suffer from on a collective. And, especially as a teenager, it's amplified, and everything's so important outside of yourself, because you really don't have time to go within at that time. But I'll tell you what spoke to me real quick was the Dale Carnegie book, How to Stop Worrying and Start Living, I think his book was.
Stop Worrying and Start Living?
Yeah. I was in New York City walking down the street, and I saw this book. It was with my mom. I saw this book in the bookstore. I said, And I can't remember what I was worrying about, 1,000 different things worrying about, probably some girl or whatever.
The big stuff.
The big stuff, and things done in school. And so I picked it up, and ever since then, I became an avid reader in reference to self-help, to the point where I can't pick up a self-help book.
You can count on me. I'll be right here waiting for you.
Okay, here we go.
You can text Lillian McDermott or leave her a voicemail at 407-373-5959. Once again, here's Lillian.
Welcome back to the Lillian McDermott Radio Show, where we always learn and grow together. And I've got my brother from another mother, Tim Ray, who we have so much in common. It's amazing how much we do have in common. And we met purely by accident, really? Is it really by accident? I really believe that yes, we say in the world, that yes, that we say, that we proclaim, this is what I want and this is what I'm willing to do to get it, puts the same people that are willing to, that want the same thing, that are willing to get it, and somehow we get attracted to one another. But action is so important. So here you are, Tim Ray, so excited that you are a wonderful example in the world, a wonderful light in the world, but you weren't always the Tim Ray that we know as a TV radio host and the founder of United Intentions back in 2009. But what led you to the decision? Was there anything, we were sharing off the air that for me, right before, I've always, if I was going to read a book, it was going to be personal growth. I always knew that there was something else that I needed to be. I just didn't know why, because I was so limited in my beliefs. I had shared with you off the air that many people tried to blow out my candle, like my light in my candle, myself, blow that out. And for some reason, it just kept igniting. It just kept igniting. Even though I believed it, there was something else inside of me that said, that ain't true. And so there came a time where I just personally said, it's enough about reading. And I went to this experiential workshop that completely changed the direction of my life. I was already doing the radio show. What was it for you that made you go from, okay, this is what my life is supposed to be like, to heck no, there's more for me, and I want to take action to do this?
Well, it's probably multiple causes over the period of time. When I was a teenager, to the point where I was maybe 22, 23. But one incident when I was just turning in my 20s, I have to say that I really I think stands out in my mind, is when I became aware and connected how my thoughts and feelings, I have them ahead of time, and then I'll have my experience based on that appear. And so usually most of us believe that our reality creates our thoughts and feelings. And I had that experience where I just saw with my own eyes how my thoughts and feelings have created my reality. And when I connected at that moment, and I was reading a book on expectancy and imagination and desire, when those three elements are put together, and really the perfect storm being created there for the good.
Sure.
That I was able to have these thoughts ahead of time, and I was writing them down and connecting them. And then all of a sudden it appeared, the job that I was asking for at the time. And I didn't know what the job was, but I wanted to have this experience. I wanted to have a really management experience. I got a degree in management and psychology. And then I wanted to have, I wanted to wear a business suit, I wanted all these, whatever the typical 20-year-old, maverick in the making was. Yeah. And I saw the connection. I get this opportunity out of nowhere to come to Georgia from Florida. And then I got thrown into this crisis management, working in nursing homes for many, many years, and turning nursing homes around. It turns out I was good. I was good at that, and crisis management. And so I kind of grew, and I'm like, wow, I'm actually aware that I am experiencing what I thought and felt before. Yeah, that to me was my journey of living intentionally. Now, I did get caught in the career path for many years. But eventually, when I was able to slow down, I said, you know what, I really want to live and deal with my passion, like you're doing right now on your radio show, is that you're living your passion, you're living what you know and learn, and you're sharing that with people now. And it is so empowering. I mean, honestly, don't you feel like you get a lot more from doing this than you give?
Oh, without a doubt. And it's so funny because, even for people who read the Bible and understand scripture, it says it very clearly that when you give, you receive 100 times fold. And when you learn that truth, giving becomes the goal. But there are times that we solely give and forget that we need to receive as well. And that's where we fall out of balance. We need to follow that flow that you give, you receive, you give, you receive. Not intentional. You don't expect, but it does happen. It's the process of giving that when you give, then there's that return. But I wanted to go back and ask you a question about that original awareness of your thoughts, that your thoughts created your reality. So did you read that somewhere, and then somewhere along the way you became aware of it? Or were you so in tune and so aware that, heck, I just thought this, and all of a sudden it happened? is it a coincidence? I mean, how did you come about to that awareness?
It was, I read it, and like I said earlier, they're talking about those principles about desire, expectancy, and imagination.
Uh-huh.
And I just practiced it. And I remember jogging around my complex and just imagining, desiring it, expecting it. And then it showed up. And I'm like, wow, this really stuff works. Maybe there is something to this,
Like, okay, got it. Yeah. Okay. So here you are, but you weren't just jogging around and that's all you did all day. You also worked towards what you wanted to achieve.
The law of action. And that's very critical in the manifestation process, is the law of action. And a lot of people, I think, kind of let go of like the intention piece of it, and they go, well, it's not here. I mean, it should just show up for me. And no, it does. I don't think it works that way. I think you have to look at what you're experiencing and then add and have your intentions amplify that. But when it shows up, and God got us all there is, always will give you whatever you really desire. It's just that most of the time we're not even aware of it because we're not conscious of it, because we're just not realizing that our thoughts come first and our experience comes second. If once you switch that in your life and you truly understand and believe and it resonates with you, that thoughts first, experience second, thoughts, feelings first, reality later, that's when everything switches. And it's such an empowering, as you know, it's such an empowering way to live. And I call that living an intentional life. That's the whole point of the United Intentions, is people who really are in tune to understanding and conscious of living in an intentional life by having your understanding that your thoughts create your reality. And it's that simple. And even quantum physics, Lillian, it follows this as well. So you can have science and spirituality on top of real life experimentation and seeing it yourself to validate that thoughts first, experience second.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So let's talk a little bit about that. Many of us, our thoughts are our worst enemy, and we avoid our thoughts. We turn on the radio, we numb ourselves with television. We're so busy that we really don't have time to say, what do I want? What we do have time to say is, what do I don't want? I don't want you to do this. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do, there's a clear line where you see most people know what they don't want. So how do we stop, share your tips, Tim Ray's tips in his life, and how you were able to stop, slow down those thoughts, and create the intention that you want?
You hit it around the nose. I mean, most people don't even realize we have over 70,000 thoughts plus a day. I mean, you wake up.
I know.
It's early here. It's 8:30. We're probably at maybe 10, 15,000 thoughts right now. And the majority of them are negative and repetitive. And so, the odds are against you. And add some more insult to that. Our subconscious mind runs the show. 95% of our brains used by our subconscious mind. And our subconscious mind is 30,000 times more powerful than our 5% conscious mind.
Yeah.
Seems the odds are overwhelming, doesn't it?
Yes.
But when you said it, you hit it. When you slow down. And the only way to slow down is to what? Slow down. Still yourself. Meditate. Walk out in nature, whatever it is, allow your thoughts to stop or cease or put on hold or on hiatus just for a little bit, and allow yourself to feel and connect with, I call it the God, Goddess, source, whatever I call it source, whatever your description, it can be Jesus to you, whatever it may be. I don't want to name anything, but whatever that God source to you is, feel it, flow with it. And living an intentional life is, to me, living in God's source. And having that direct you in your decision. It's your steering wheel.
Okay.
And when you use your steering wheel, your intentions as your steering wheel, that God source steering wheel, then you attract people like you. I attract people like you. I attract people who are going to raise my vibration, because as I'm raising my vibration and frequency. And it's all about the intention, and the tips to that really is to slow down, but also recognize and tracking it. And that's one thing that we talked about before, is like what we do on the site is we show you how to create an intention, how to track that intention, and then watch it become realized, manifested, one intention at a time, because it's overwhelming if you think you can take on 70,000 thoughts at one time. You could do it one at a time,
Yeah. And, and going back to those 70,000 thoughts, Bruce Lipton was on my show, and talk about learning from the master, and I got to meet Eckhart Tolle. And so these are things that, vision boards, and that, that you you put on a vision board, you sit down and you write down, what do you want? What do I want? And never in a million years, Bruce Lipton. Okay, I'm going to reach out to Bruce Lipton, and Bruce Lipton wants to be on my show. What? Okay, so here we go. So I learned that not only do we have 70,000 thoughts a day, so you hit it on the nail, they are repetitive. 80% of those thoughts are negative thoughts.
Mm-hmm. You don't even hear it. It's like, oh, that's stupid. Wow, Tim, why would you do that? Oh, Tim, what are you thinking? And this self-talk that goes unconscious, at least below the threshold of consciousness, you got to slow down to hear yourself, what you're saying to yourself, because those are the thoughts that are doing the damage. Those are that 80% of the thoughts, not so much, somebody says something to you. It's what are you saying to yourself? My God, would you say that to your child? No, you wouldn't think about saying that to your child. Like, stop it, the insanity.
It's so funny. You sound like me. You're the male version of Lillian. I'm the female version of Tim. So here's
twin souls here.
That's right. We are. We're speaking the same language, but here are people that are going vibration. What frequency? What?
Yeah.
There are people who stumble upon my show. They're driving, and yes, that is you. I know you just perked up. I'm talking to you. So. The vibration and frequency. A lot of people right there, they're going to shut you down. They're going to say, what the heck is that? That's a bunch of woo-woo. So let's talk about vibration and frequency. Give us an example that we can take a bite out of.
Sure. Well, let's go quantum for a second here, because if this sounds alien to people for the first time, then you really weren't listening to your chemistry and biology class in high school, because that's exactly what it is. Everything is energy. It's the electrons. There's mostly empty space in every molecule. You hear, well, what are things really actually touching? But you have to realize that on a quantum level, even on a chemical level, everything is vibrating at a frequency, an energetic frequency, a hertz, let's say. And that means everything. That means not only within our body and our cells, individual cells, but the computer and the phone, the microphone, everything's vibrating at higher, lower densities. And so we live in an energetic world, and you have to kind of first take that understanding to your imagination, to your conceptual imagination, understanding everything's frequency. And it's nothing that you and I are coming up with. This is Einstein. This is the most brilliant minds in the world have shared for decades, that we are all energy, and that's what's most important. So I think that's a big piece to start with, and when later on we could talk about then how do we take that to the next level? How do we use that type of energy into our daily life, understanding from an energetic perspective, everything's energy. And I think once we get that and we take it to the next level, which we can talk about later, people will see that.
Very good. Okay. For those of you, fasten your seatbelt. We're going to continue to learn and grow with Tim Ray of United Intentions. You can find it at unitedintentions.org when we return worldwide at whenyouneedafriend.com. We'll be right here waiting for you. Okay, so here we go. It is amazing. I would like to talk about random act of kindness right now, because when we go back on the air, we'll kind of like shorten it, because when we go back, I talk a little bit about my social media, and then we'll continue to talk about, I'll reintroduce you. Okay. But here's the thing about random act of kindness for people who are, I'm hearing, are we out? Are we out? Brian? Yes. Okay. We're out. Okay. I don't want to keep talking okay. So here's the thing. A random act of kindness. This is the best example I can give about frequency. When you are about to do a random act of kindness, you approach the person, and that how they feel is contagious. If they start crying, if they're excited, you feel it, and you are excited for that person. People who are witnessing this random act of kindness that have nothing to do with those two people that are experiencing this joy or whatever, whether it also happens with sadness too, depression, anxiety too. But I'm just giving the example of a random act of kindness. The people who are witnessing experience that same joy too. That's the frequency Tim Ray is talking about, right?
Absolutely.
Would you like to elaborate on that?
Yeah, because I mean, one thing in the Western culture that they really didn't take into account is that we're electromagnetic energetic beings, along with a chemical being, right? And
Mhm.
so our medical model only deals with the chemical side, not the electromagnetic side, but we're both. And so knowing that we're electromagnetic, we are energy, right? And everything's energy and frequency and vibration. Um, what happens is when that electromagnetic frequency vibration is activated in the body, there's also a chemical response. So when I'm witnessing somebody doing a kind thing for somebody else, I don't even have to be doing it. All I have to do, like you said, is witnessing it. There's serotonin. There are actual chemical hormones going through my body now,
Yeah.
thanks to that person who's experienced that same experience. So, and serotonin and all the happy-go-lucky hormones that we have and biochemicals we have in our body.
Yep.
You want to trigger that because it's getting you out of that sympathetic nervous system into the parasympathetic nervous system. Because today we are inundated with sympathetic nervous system issues and problems, and our other hormones are not maybe the ones that are good for us for a certain period of time, are overextended, like cortisone and adrenaline, and it wears on the body. So if you don't do acts of kindness because that's the right thing and the good thing to do it for your health.
Yeah.
That's what I tell people all the time.
Yes, absolutely. It's interesting as you were talking about that. I was thinking about the there's so many different ways that we can experience different frequencies. Like when you walk barefoot, you feel the frequency of the earth, and when you watch a child at play, that gives you a different frequency. And
Yes.
and I don't know if I told you this in the last time we spoke, but I was rear-ended. I have 4 herniated discs,
Ooh.
spinal compression, and a torn left tendon on my shoulder. And I have not taken any Tylenol. I have not taken any pain medication because I immediately started working on frequencies. I use microcurrent and I have a device and started doing microcurrent frequencies for healing. And let me tell you, doctors are baffled how I can be as normal as I am, because every single one of them said you will need surgery.
See, the sad part is they're baffled, and they're the doctors, they're the teachers, they're supposed to be the most educated ones, but they have been, and I can't even say it's their fault. The medical model that they taught under was left out the electromagnetic, energetic part of being a human being. So they never learned to develop techniques and solutions to deal with our electromagnetic aspect of our bodies.
Yeah.
And so it's limited. It's sad in many ways because these are good people, just in a really bad model that's limiting for whatever reasons,
I just found a doctor in Brevard County who is a medical doctor who is highly functional medicine. He's like dabbles in Chinese and he masquerades as an MD. He's my new doctor.
You can count on me. I'll be right here waiting for you.
Hey, Brian, the music is so
You
loud.
can text Lillian McDermott or leave her a voicemail at 407-373.
There you go. That's much better.
Once again, here's Lillian.
Welcome back to the Lillian McDermott Radio Show, where we are worldwide at whenyounneedafriend.com. I'm so excited to be talking to my brother from another mother, Tim Ray, because he as well, we attract one another, like-minded people, like-mindedness, which is what I love about this show. If you are listening today and you're going, my thoughts do control me, and yes, my thoughts are horrible. If you were to just stop a thought, if you look at a child at play, children aren't thinking about the worst thing. They're just in the moment. They're enjoying. So I always encourage you to go through that childlike wonder. Live life with that childlike, with curiosity instead of being critical. There's so many different things, little steps that we can take. As you know, on the Lillian McDermott Radio Show, we talk just about everything to live a responsible life. And so here's this thing. We don't stop and think about what we do want, how to take responsibility for our life, which, by the way, I'm going to be giving a talk. Go to whenyounneedafriend.com and I will share the date and time so you can check it out on there. But on Thursday, I'll be giving a talk, and it's going to be, you can take a pill, you can take responsibility, which is my registered service mark. It's not that I am against pills. I am for doing everything we possibly can to live the life we desire. Stop. You deserve. You are enough to figure this out. And because sometimes by ourselves we feel overwhelmed, whenyounneedafriend.com was created just for you when you need a friend. And like United Intentions, it was created for you when you need something else. I mean, we all work together for the greater good. I want to encourage you to be a part of the dialogue, to be a part of this movement of 100% responsibility, where it's not about blame, shame, fault, or duty. It is all about empowerment and freedom. How do you do that? Become a first step, become a subscriber at whenyouneedafriend.com. Wait for that confirmation email. And then once you confirm, you will get access to a lot of gifts. You'll have the show sent to you in your email, in your tablets or your phones, your smartphones. And there's so many teachers that have commented, even Tim, who has been a great teacher for me, being on his show and him now being on my show, we're really combined together. Even though alone we are enough, together, man, we are an overwhelming majority, and we just keep uniting and working together. So I want to encourage you, when you are whenyouneedafriend.com, go to my sponsors. Without my sponsors, the show would not happen. So go to them and figure out a way that you can support them the way they have supported the show. And also, I want you to, when you're at whenyouneedafriend.com, like and subscribe all my social media on YouTube. And that way we can continue this conversation. I also have a support group that we've started. And so I want to encourage you to join the support group. So we're going to be sharing recipes. And that way, if you want to eat a whole food plant-based diet or change your lifestyle so that you can embrace health, that's where you do it as well. So you can also call me or text me at 407-373-5959. So today we have the CEO of United Intentions Foundation, and you can find them at unitedintentions.org. Tim, you didn't always have unitedintentions.org. Share with my listening friends why you started United Intentions, for those of you turning in right now.
Well, I wish it was a more positive reason, but this is the reality of the situation.
Sure.
I was climbing the career ladder. I was working, and I was a maverick running nursing homes all around the country. And I really was lost into the news, watching it, going back and forth elections. I mean, just really playing the matrix game. And it was depressing. I was saddened. And I knew, see, the sad part is, Lillian, I knew for a long time ago that my thoughts could be my reality. It's just so easy to get lost out of that mode, intentional mode. And so really I started the foundation for myself. I mean, the principles of Dr. Bruce Lipton, the principles of Dr. Joseph Dispenza, repetition, expectancy, and meaning. Same thing what I learned years ago on more a metaphysical level, imagination, desire, expectancy. Just all the same, just different terms. And I just kind of let go of those practices and lost myself. And I got to a point where I was either going to build a bunker or I was going to create a foundation and try to change the world for the better. That's how saddened I was, in low vibrational living. And people have to realize thoughts are energetic. Thoughts actually have physical properties. A positive thought has a certain wave frequency, and a negative thought has a certain wave frequency, distinctly different. Mm-hmm. And they affect our DNA. As you know, they affect our DNA differently too. Whether you're in fight or flight and you're shutting down the creation of new DNA, or you're in a more parasympathetic mode and creating new DNA to change whatever your experience of your environment is. Sure. It's critical. So your thoughts are so tied into real physical properties that you have to take it as just serious. This is as toxic of a negative thought you got to take as serious as the toxin from aluminums or from glyphosate. You got to take it just as, if not more, because thoughts are so easily deceiving us, and we fool ourselves all the time. So I think that's critical in that piece.
Yeah. And, they've done some research where they say that memories have a cell and they have a location where they position themselves in the body. I just, last year I did a workshop with Dr. Mona Lisa Scholes. I don't know if you know who she is. She would be an excellent guest for you on your show as well. Definitely. But she is able, by your name and your age and area of concern in your body, tell you what the root cause. I mean, they got it down of your illness. So people, now when I coach somebody and they tell me, because, we are a mind, body, spirit. We're not just a career person. I'm not just a religious person. I'm not just a married mom that have, grandchildren. I'm not just someone who gives back to the world. I'm all those things, right?
Absolutely. And you hit on such an important part, is that that people have to realize with this type of frequency and understanding of how the thoughts that we choose for ourselves and we want to experience, and all these doctors, I mean, we're not saying anything new, but it's so important though, like you may take for granted, and I know I do at times, just to understand what we understand in reference to our physical health and what affects it, right? You take it for granted. But there was a point where many new listeners may be listening right now, had first time ever hearing this information. I was there. You were there before. We were like, what? All our physical ailments come from our emotional suppression of thoughts and feelings? Yeah. That's crazy. That's crazy talk, right?
Yeah.
But then when you go down that rabbit hole, when you go down that road and you start connecting the dots and you start seeing, like you have seen, like you just said, almost instantaneous healing, because you're dealing with the electromagnetic aspects of this repression, recall therapy, they call it, of releasing these pockets, this negative energy pockets, toxins that are in your cells that are transferred there probably from neuropeptides, whatever it may be. There's science behind it, but when you start realizing it and you start seeing it, and then you see the outcome of your thought of releasing it, you're like, wow, how can you not be a believer? But we take it for granted because now we know that to be true. We heal ourselves every day. We're not even realizing it because we're in that preventative mode, because we're stopping it before it becomes a physical ailment, because we're aware of that. Now imagine a whole world on the same united intention, understanding that aspect of it. A lot of industries would fall apart, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
For the better, I'd say, because we're claiming our power back. And that's one thing I have to say, really important, Lillian, is people have to realize that the power of our intentions is all about claiming your God-given power back to yourself and stop giving our power over to others. When we watch the news, when we do all these different things, we're creating their intentions for them. Every day we wake up, we create other people's intentions, our parents' intentions, or whatever the situation is. Once we let that go and we realize I take my power back, I'm going to wake up in the morning, and like I started doing years ago when I started the foundation, I'm going to create my own news. This is news, Tim Ray news today. It's going to be a beautiful, shiny day, and we're going to be, but it sounds funny and silly, but it's so true.
It is true.
I create my own reality, and once you realize that, and truly it soaks through every pervasive part of your body, right? Pervasively part of your body, then you then claim your power back, and you're not a victim anymore, like you say. You were able to create whatever you want, as long as you're syncing your subconscious belief with your conscious belief. But it's so much more empowering not to be the victim, and even in this crazy world that I think is getting crazier because it's forcing people to go within themselves to claim back their power and stop giving their power over to others. So in the overall picture, I think it's probably a good thing. But it's like when I had a guest on, Susan McDowell, and you need to have Susan on your show.
Yeah, we've reached out to her already.
Oh, good. Because she says, Tim, it's like the shift going on. It's like this oozy wound right now. It's ugly, and we're looking at this ugliness. But for it to heal, it has to ooze it out. It has to get all the toxins out, and it looks ugly from a direct perceptual belief. But from the overall picture, it's what needs to happen to heal a world in crisis of perception, and that's, what we're really experiencing. Yeah. And so, the more we take that individual power back through our intentions, we shift our perception. We shift this crisis perception into a world that we really truly want to live, heaven on earth, as they talk about.
Yeah. I just felt all the eyes rolling and the exasperation because you just don't get it. You don't understand my life. My life is unfixable. I remember when I was becoming a life coach, the person that was in the process of helping me get through that breakthrough, just break through that belief, that limiting belief, she was like in my face going, "You're uncoachable." and the reality is, once you stop being right, give up the need of being right about your limiting belief, it's amazing the shift that will occur. And we're going to continue our conversation with Tim Ray of United Intentions. You can go to unitedintentions.org to learn more about Tim Ray. But I want to encourage you to just sit right now during this break. I want you to kind of feel what you're going through and listen to your thoughts and tell me, if you can shift them a bit, how your life would change today. We'll continue our conversation worldwide at whenyouneedafriend.com. We'll be right here waiting for you. And that's when the padding works. when I get to 1 and I'm still talking. That's why I say, Brian, you're a genius. Brian is a genius. Okay, so I have a question for you that I want to talk off the air.
Okay.
than when we were on the air. Okay, so you have for the last 3 years interviewed thought leaders.
Mhm.
Other than me, who's your favorite?
You are my favorite, Lily. Honestly, we probably have some. We're so similar in our physical reality experiences, not to mention our mindsets, that we probably are some type of twin soul thing going on. Who knows?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't doubt any of that stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. So tell me about some of the thought leaders that you've had that you have just learned such great, even, because
Yeah.
we learn something new every day. That's the
Yeah.
goal, is to learn something new from the
Yeah.
people. So for the last 7 years, almost 7 years, I've learned something from everybody that I've had on the show.
Yeah.
What have been some of the pearls for you?
Well, Dr. Bruce Lipton, of course, he's incredible. That was one of my favorite interviews.
Yeah.
I had Daniel Brinkley on, which is more jovial, but it talks about how you could shift how bad person you are, you could change your life around, and near-death experiences. I had, it's so slew. I had Sister Jenna on. We had.
Yeah, I saw that.
We had one of my favorites is Dr. Karen Can. I love her so much. She is one of those MDs that are just, out of the closet. Let's get spiritual. Let's talk about negative entities and attachments. And, she doesn't hold back anything, It's just the most important thing to me is that I finally said, you know what? I'm going to start sharing what I believe for all this period of time. People, I think people want to hear it. And it turns out people are starving for it. They're starving for your information. I mean, they just don't get it. You don't get it when you're watching football all day long, or you go to work, or you're watching the news. It's like what's happening in our food industry. We're being starved of their proper nutrients. We're not getting the nutrients at all, even in our truth information.
Yeah.
And it's like I'm not a TV host, or I'm not a big guy who grew. I just started doing this on my own 3 years ago because it was something that I felt was needed, and I enjoy doing it. And I'm learning more so from all these different people.
Isn't it wonderful? Isn't it wonderful to learn from all these people?
Yeah.
And one of the things that has been a big changer for me, and I don't know about you, what has been your greatest change? Because I call my show my greatest education ever, because I had certain, what we think we're right about.
Yeah.
And everything that my parents taught me, I thought that was right. And I would fight about me being right. And being a right fighter is just so draining to the body. And so I remember one of the truths that I learned on the show has been nutrition. And I do a lot of shows, and Dr. Joel Furman is regular on my show. That Brian. There you go. I don't know why the music is so loud all of a sudden. It's nothing that Brian's doing. It's just the board just does that. So for those of you who are watching on YouTube, sorry.
Once again,
welcome back to the Lillian McDermott Radio Show, where we have the fastest hour. Can you believe it? Tim Ray of United Intentions. We're on our last segment.
Wow, that's terrible. This is not right, Lillian. This is not right.
We should have more of a longer show, right? Is that what you're saying?
Absolutely.
Okay. So now let's condense all that we've been learning from you. Let's condense it into the do's, because we know the don'ts. Let's focus on the do's of having a positive attitude, because if we feel positive, or if we think positive thoughts, we will feel positive, and then we will act as a positive person. So let's do the do's on positive thinking. So if I were to say to you, what's the first do of positive thinking, what would you say?
Embrace your darkness. I think a lot of people. I think a lot of people get lost into the denial-based positive thinking, where I can't think of negative thought. And as they're saying, I can't think of negative thought, they're attracting negative thoughts. But our darkness is just as important as our light for our growth and our personal development. And, so when you're looking at a reality of a situation in your life, instead of just denying it, see why it's there. It's there for you to learn something, to grow, right? And once you kind of change and shift your mental attitude about that, this bad thing, it could be a car accident, it could be a loss of your job, whatever it is, whatever this perceived problem is, it's there. So embrace it, take it in, sit with it, feel depressed for a little while, feel sad, and feel with all the range of emotions, what it may be. But then you will find when you address it and you look at it, you will embrace it. In fact, you transmute it. And as long as that's your intention. And so to me, the first thing to do is look at it all.
I love that.
Look at it all. That's very important.
I love the embracing darkness and what he's talking about. This is how connected Tim and I are. If you go to my 100% responsibility, go to whenyounneedafriend.com, check out my 100% responsibility page. That's where you go from victim to responsibility. Exactly what he's saying. You look at that dark side, and there are 4 questions there that will help you go from that victim mentality to taking your life back, no matter what happened. Okay, so what's another thing that you would suggest for someone?
Is to slow down. And like one thing we do on the site is where you actually can pick one intention that's important to you in your life. It could be a simple intention that you want to have a better relationship with your child. It could be you want a new car. It could be whatever it may be. It could be something physical or something more emotional, internal. Pick that one intention and focus on it. Use repetition, as Joe Dispenza says, but feel it. Allow the feeling to come out why you want it. Look at what the obstacles are. Look at the subconscious beliefs that could be blocking this. What's my self-talk? Why am I saying that, you want a Bugatti, but, your self-talk saying you only deserve a Hyundai, So you got to look at that subconscious below, how you're sabotaging it, and then track it. And every day, as you have one little success, track that. Say, you know what? I just drove in a really nice car, or I saw one on the street. Ooh, it's coming closer to me, the frequency. And you move up on this intention scale. We talk about on the site where you're at definitely not, not likely, maybe, likely, definitely. And wherever your state of mindset is, your state of being in that belief system on that intention scale, that this intention is going to manifest in my life. Be honest with yourself. Where am I? I'm on a not likely. That's fine. The next day, work on that. When you start tracking it more, you move up that scale automatically because now you're believing in yourself. It's a knowing that this is going to happen. And then that's when you're syncing your subconscious belief in with your conscious belief for this to manifest in your life. And you can do that on the site, or you can do it. You don't have to be on the site. You can do it on your own right now. Just write it down what you're tracking. And when you track it, you create the more of the belief, the expectancy, which is most important, that's going to occur in your life. And that's going to be, you're going to attract that through the frequency process, through the law of attraction, through everything people have been talking about in the secret and things like that. So but you're dealing with the subconscious aspect. That's probably the biggest secret. The secret left out is you got to deal with the most powerful part of your brain, is your subconscious.
Yes. Okay. So when people go to United Intentions and they become a subscriber, how do they, tell us what they can do? How do they go into this tracking their intentions?
Sure. You could go on to, right to unitedintentions.org, sign up for the 7-day free email series that walks you through, and it kind of shows you how to create an intention. We just brought on a cruise director who's actually, when you sign up, you can friend her. Her name's Rose. You can friend her and she'll show you how to use the intention. It's all self-help videos there to show you the process, the steps. We put 4 simple steps together of how to create an intention, how to track it, and then how to realize it, to manifest it. And it's fun. You're experimenting with the power of intentions. You're experimenting with the thoughts create your reality, and you can have fun with it. And plus, the best part about it, honestly, Lillian, is you're meeting people who are the same like-minded people like you and I, who are posting their intentions, and you can help create their intentions with them. When 2 more people come together in prayer, when 2 more people come together in united intention, there is a electromagnetic exponential increase in energy. Yeah. And now you got thousands of people doing that with you, with your intentions, as you do with their intentions. It's such a positive way to create and make friends and to manifest intentions together. Point being united intentions, right?
Yes, very good.
It's a great opportunity to do that. I think that's what you'll experience and gain out of it. But it's work. Don't think you can come in like Instagram. You can look at a picture and everything's gonna be fine. You got to do the work. You got to still yourself. You got to look at what's blocking. You got to do the work, and that's part of the program. Is in slowing down to one intention to do your work.
Well, I love the terminology, the law of action, because, we talk about the think it, therefore you will get it. And let me tell you, don't let me go there, but I will. I wrote an article. I heard this preacher talking. I was listening on the radio. Heard this preacher saying that if you want a car, you don't have to do a thing. You just pray for that car. Ask God to give you this car, and the car will appear in your driveway. I don't know about you, but I think that's great. And listen, and it may happen, but I have a greater chance of getting a car if I work for my car, if I have a plan for my car. There isn't just that it just will appear, because you know what? I will become very bitter with my creator if I ask for something and I don't get it.
That's really the most important thing, because you got to follow your own belief. That's why the intention is so important. If your subconscious believe that your car is going to appear to you in the next day, and your consciously believe the same thing, I believe it would appear. It's just that we need to have steps. We need to know, we need to raise ourselves to understanding that it will occur. So we may have to believe we have to do certain things, and you've got to do that. Otherwise it won't appear in your life, because that's what the present state of mindset is. I believe I need to do a certain few things, and then follow that, and then it will appear. But when I talk about people experimenting with intentions, pick something really small and easy. Something really easy to a point where, you like to have a windfall of $100 this week, whatever. Something that you could just manage. And once you see that and you start connecting dots, then raise it up to a higher belief there. I picked something a little while ago that it was, I knew I was definitely not a belief. My son was going to find his wallet, right? And over a period of time, I was raising my expectation. I went up to the scale where likely he was going to find it. And eventually he did. But start small and then work big, and then you could experiment with that. And I think that's most important. That is your belief system of why something's going to appear in your life on a subconscious and a conscious level.
Okay, but if you believe that you have to do nothing and all you have to do is think it, what is the warning to that?
The warning to that is that you're going against some universal laws. And one of the universal laws is the law of action. You got to be able to reach out. You got to reach out for that hand. You just can't sit there and wait for somebody to pick you up. And that to me is playing the victim role, and the universe doesn't support that.
That's right. That's right. So, for those of you who want to learn a little bit more about frequency, and, we talked about this during the break, I want to encourage you to also, you can watch the video later on. It'll be posted, of the conversations on and off the air with Tim Ray. And that's he gave us a little bit of a quantum physics class so that you will be able because sometimes it is difficult to learn a new truth. And the reality is we have been told a certain way to believe. And now, does it support you? Does it support us? The way it used to be when we were kids, treat others the way you want to be treated. But the reality is that doesn't work when you're an adult. We have to think about how other people feel as well. So we get to shift this opportunity or this mindset so that we can grow and learn. And Tim Ray, I am so grateful for the fact that I met you at Doctors Who Rock with Kelly Gallagher. And I am so grateful that you are doing the work that you're doing, because we all, it doesn't matter how we get to it. The fact that we get to it, maybe it's not me, maybe something that you said today will get somebody to wake up. So thank you for everything that you're doing.
Thank you for those kind words. And Lillian, my sister Lillian, thank you for everything you're doing as well. And I'm looking forward to creating reality with you as we move forward in our careers and in our light sharing with everyone as well.
Absolutely. And for those of you, always know the power of uniting our intentions. There are strength in numbers. Alone you're enough, but we are an overwhelming majority when we come together in love. And please remember, I'll be right here waiting for you worldwide at whenyouneedafriend.com. This is Lillian McDermott wishing you love, peace, joy, and unexpected abundance. Make it the best day ever. Good job. Right on the one. Right on the one. Okay. You see, this is the thing. I am so glad we were able to talk during the break, because there's so much more that we can say off the air than we can say on the air. And so if with that in mind, is there anything that you would like to add that you thought, I'd like to add this one thing or whatever before we go?
Not really. I just want to mention maybe the Imagine program. I know Jennifer would be upset if I didn't mention it. So.
Okay. Go ahead. Let's talk about it.
I don't want to get in trouble.
Okay. I don't want you to get in trouble.
It's a education program for first graders to 12th graders. It's an SEL, social emotional learning program, 5 modules. It's all about showing children how their thoughts create the reality, and also leadership skills and a whole bunch of other different things. But it's easily applied to the school system as a SEL program. And we rolled it out this year, I should say last year. And we're in schools right now, and we're bringing it to California, as well as we're getting some legislation to look at to get it actually into the school system. But can you imagine if children learn from first grade that the thoughts create the reality, how empowering they would be in creating the world that they want to live in and not being a victim mentality?
That's a beautiful world that you have manifested, and I want to be a part of that. If there's any way that I can be a part in
Absolutely.
taking this to schools, is this going to cost parents anything? Is this a service that the school system pays for, or how does that work?
Both ways. Usually, if the public schools more so, they may want. We try to get funders who will fund that, and then we offer it free to the schools.
Mm-hmm.
But private schools and home schools are really picking up very quickly, and there's prices to it. But we're training master teachers every day, and we're expanding it out and getting with schools and the booklets. And this year's our goal is to get it digital, so we could grow it even further, very fast too as well. But it is excellent. If you ever want Jennifer on the show or talk about it, or
why don't we follow up with that? Because your imagination is it called Imagination Program or Imaginative Program?
Imagine if.
Imagine if.
Yeah.
Oh, imagine if. Oh, okay.
Imagine if ... Yep.
I just saw a video yesterday that had Imagine If, and it's on a new way to heal the body, and it's focused ultrasound. Focused ultrasound therapy. And it's helping people, and I just started my research on it. It's helping people even with Parkinson's. And they're using ultrasound instead of chemotherapy or radiation or anything like that to bring down tumors, to bring down the swelling, the inflammation. But again, there's that we need to take responsibility about how we eat. That's what I was saying before. The one thing that really changed me was the way I eat. And one of the things that's happened with me, Tim, is that when I chose to change the way I was eating, this was about 20 some years ago, probably, about 20. Actually, I've eaten different than my family, and since I was 21. So it's been quite a few years. And so the ridicule and the mocking and the calling of names, the bullying that happens within our own homes, it's not something that's, they understand that it is mean, but it's something that happens because we don't understand it. And the good news is 20 years later, the people that were making fun of me
are waking up,
are now eating the same way I used to eat. And now they're more open. What is your advice to someone who lives in a toxic environment where those thoughts in their heads are the ones that you would never repeat to anybody else, but we are constantly continuing the abuse in our mind when the abuser isn't there? What is your number one tip for someone that is in a toxic environment and how to change this reality in their life?
Yeah, great question. And using the imaginative part of it too. And the first response, I think, is to get our own state of mindset in when we're dealing with, especially loved ones that we care about. And we know, like, my children, I'm like, God, they know, they hear it, they just don't do it, right?
Mm-hmm.
The first mindset I try to get myself is, forgive them, Father, for they do not know. They are, if they just don't know. And when you're in that mindset, it's much easier then to come up with ideas when the right teaching moment is, throw it at them, You just can't force them. They're going to have to come to that water themselves and drink from that water themselves. But you could sure give some directions there. So I would say with your loved ones, use teaching moments, anywhere from, hey, have you tried this tea when you have a little sore throat before it gets any bad? Yeah. Try this. And then, it went away. It went away because of the turmeric. It went away because of whatever. And, what's turmeric? Now they just learned a whole new, an important ingredient that could change, that could lead them to the next level. What is that? So it's those little tiny steps, I think, where people, but I tried before, and I was the rock against the rock, right? And, I kind of learned through some of my Taoist friends that, be the water that goes around the rock, under the rock, side the rock, and eventually you'll wear it down while you're not trying to force it, and I think that's probably the best advice I could give people who are concerned with their loved ones or just people in general, is be the example, show them, and then in time they will know, they will wake up. may take 20 years,
Yeah.
But I think what you're doing is perfect. And I think that's a wonderful way of showing people how nutrition, but really it's your intention behind the nutrition too. But the fact that you believe that this nutrition is going to save you or help you is more important than anything. Yeah. And I think it's been kind of played down a lot because we see the ingredients, we see how it does affect us. We create a belief.
Yeah.
A lot of people are doing just the opposite. They see something, they create a belief, and it's negative, whatever it may be. But it's their intention on that belief. Really, I think they need to get in balance first, and then they can start seeing some of the transformational good greatness that these nutritions and things are occurring, because now they're adding to it, and quantum physics supports that.
Yeah.
You're collapsing the wave into the matter by being the observer, and that's really the ultimate mindset we should all have in every day of our life.
Yeah, it's interesting. I wrote an article called "I Am Water."
Oh, I love that, and we are water.
We are water, and that example of going around the rock, and water finds a way. Water finds. I interviewed. Oh gosh, what's her name? She swam from Cuba to Key West.
Oh wow.
On her without a cage. I mean, what's her name? Oh my God. I interviewed her and
that's incredible.
Yeah. Stung by box jellyfish. I mean, the woman should have died in the water right there. But she attempted it for many times. What's her name? I can't remember. So sorry.
Yeah. It'll come to you.
Sorry.
When you're not thinking, it'll come to you.
But she wrote a book called, Find a Way or something like that.
Right.
And she found a way to make it from, Cuba to Key West, and very, very strong woman. And, gosh, it's going to kill me no, it's not going to kill me. I get that thought out.
That's the self-talk, right?
That's this example. It doesn't matter how much we do this. Even you,
all the time.
You ever find yourself?
All the time.
But at least we're aware of it. It's like we catch ourselves, and then it becomes less and less and less. But we get to discover this beautiful life that we have. It's interesting that you have, through your journey, shut down a lot of the communications that cause us to trust the media, or trust the pill, or trust the doctor. We need to realize that everything that we have within us was given to us, like you said, that our God-given right, and that if we need it and we experience it, that it will stick with us forever. We'll get to know it a different way, a better way. And Tim, I'm so grateful that you started United Intentions, and if there's anything that we can do so that we can come together to grow together even more, because together we are an overwhelming majority.
Absolutely. Plan on that, because we're doing so much in 2018 from events, and we're doing the Doctor's Rock again down in Orlando again next year in November. But there's I have so many ideas I want to share with you.
Okay, I'm gonna be turning off the camera in a little bit. So I want to thank you, and to you, my viewers who are watching to the end. I'm looking forward to our next conversation. Bye.
Absolutely. Bye bye.